So much. Good evening, everyone. Aloha. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First, we're going to go over monthly reports. We have the Honolulu Fire Department.
Hi, good evening. Firefighter Aubrey Leveman, Pālolo Station. Your statistics. These represent the confirmed number of incidents in the geographical area for the previous month. For more incident details and mapping info, you can go to the fire response map on fire.honolulu.gov under the news and info tab. Questions, email them to hfdnhb@honolulu.gov. Incident statistics for January. 2 nuisance fires, and those are categorized as rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle, and 1 activated alarm with no fire. 47 medicals, 2 motor vehicle crashes or collisions, 2 mountain rescues, and 1 hazardous materials incident. Our fire safety tips have to do with power outage. Here are a few ways you and your family can be prepared for a power outage. Prepare your supplies. Ensure your flashlights, radios, etc. contain batteries that are charged. Don't forget to charge our extra batteries. Prepare your family. Check in with family members. If anyone relies on medical devices requiring power, make sure you plan ahead of time. Prepare your food and water. Set your fridge and freezer to the coldest settings. Keep them closed as much as possible during an outage. Fill up water containers for drinking and other needs. Protect your electronics. Unplug unnecessary electronics to prevent damage from the power surges. Never touch down power lines. Always assume that lines are energized and dangerous. And for more safety tips, visit honolulu.gov/DEM. And you can learn more about power outages at hawaiianelectric.com/storm center. Thank you very much.
Mahalo. Does anyone have any questions, concerns? Thank you so much. Next, the Honolulu Police Department.
Yes, good evening. Lieutenant Amir from the Honolulu Police Department. We're going to start with the statistics for January. Motor vehicle thefts, we were at 7, burglaries at 5, thefts at 9, unauthorized entry into motor vehicle at 6. Total calls for service, 6,079. The tips for this month was flash flood preparedness. Flash flood watch, heavy rains may cause flash flooding in your area. If a flash flood watch is issued, be prepared for heavy rains and flooding. Flooding is occurring. Flash flood warning is defined as flooding is occurring or will develop quickly. If a flash flood warning is issued for your area, take shelter and or move to higher ground as necessary. Just some other things to know. Do not allow children to play near streams or drainage ditches. These areas can quickly become deadly. If your vehicle stalls in a flooded area, get out as soon as possible. Flood waters can rise rapidly and sweep away a vehicle and its occupants. Yeah. And that's all I have.
Aloha. We have a question.
Okay.
Aloha, my name is Hoko Akil. I live in Pālolo, Kawasalangi area. We were just questioning, how do you handle loud, excessive noise early in the morning, music especially? Do we call the police to handle that, or what is your suggestions? Especially when people are working, have night shift, and people are playing the music loudly on Saturday, Sunday, weekdays. But that was one of the questions we had, because we have a person that does that, but we found out that he was sighted. Is that one of the resolve things that the police department do, or do we just call you folks or complain?
Sure. Basically, yeah, you can call anytime, of course. 911, just call. You can say non-emergency. If you can meet anytime, we say anytime people can meet with the officers, it helps. That way the complainant the caller can point out exactly where the noise is coming from, or you provide a little bit more specifics for it. So Yeah, by all means, if there's any issues regards time of day or night, if you feel the noise is excessive, go ahead and call 911 non-emergency.
Okay. But if the citation was issued and the music still continued, is there further action that you have to do or?
You're talking about like the long-term
Yes.
solution? Uh, that I'm not really sure if as far as a long-term solution for us as the police department, we address the matter. I mean, obviously, if you call 911, as far as the long-term solution, that would take maybe a more of a diplomatic approach to see if we can try and talk to the individual or the owners, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mahalo for your question. Anyone else? No? Okay. See anybody online? Thank you so much. for
Thank you very
that.
much.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Board of Water Supply.
Hi, good evening, Dominic Diaz, with the Honolulu Board of Water Supply. Looking back in January, there were no main breaks in the valley. Construction, the Waimau Homestead water line project, the water line is complete. The installation is complete. It's just pending final testing, pressure testing, and chlorination before it's put into service. So I will keep everyone updated on the status. Just a quick general announcement. The Board of Water Supply is opening a water waste hotline. So anyone who witnesses broken pipes, sprinklers, running faucets, excessive water use that you want to file, a concern, there's multiple ways. So first, you can go to our website, boardofwatersupply.com/water waste. Second, you can email us. The email address is contactus@hbws.org. And third, and probably the most efficient, is you can call our communications office at 808-748-5041. And at this point, I'd be happy to take any questions on behalf of the Board of Water Supply.
Um,
Yep,
do
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, I can hear you.
Just for your information, there is a main break on 10th, and I don't know who's affected. They're working on it now. The other point is, did you manage to follow up on the pump noise and other noises coming from your Keanu shaft area?
Yeah, and there was a construction project there, so I'm not sure if it was related to the testing. Do you know if it's still an ongoing issue?
I don't know about the construction noise, but the pump is quite loud. I've been by there several times.
Okay, I will bring that up again and have them go check during pump operations and see if there's anything they can do or if there's another reason why it might be loud during operations.
Thank you.
We have another question from the audience. Thank you for your patience.
Yep.
Hello, my name is Hoka Kyo. I live on Rochester Street in Pālolo, Carlos Long area. Just a question. Be noticing that our water pressure on that street is kind of low. Is there a cause or can someone come out? Who do we call to have them come out and check the line or something?
I can forward that concern on so Narcissus Street, where like middle of the
That-
block, is there,
all-
there's it?
It's all
whole
the houses
area.
over there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you know what? I will go. Is it okay? Would you be willing to give me your address and they could touch base with you and maybe come do some pressure readings or?
Sure. 2468 Narcissus Street.
2468. Okay, I will relay this to our investigation section tomorrow, and hopefully somebody will contact you and come out and take a look. And you
Okay.
can always, if you don't hear anything or you haven't heard back in time, feel free to email me. Let's see, I can put my email in the chat and maybe one of the board members can pass that on to you.
Mahalo.
And you're welcome.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Yes.
If someone was taking, there's a lot of residents that take walks around the valley.
Mhm.
If there's like a leaking pipe or like overflow and their yard is maybe like, overflowing onto the sidewalk and main roads, and maybe no one's home, there's no cars or anything like that, would that person call that number that you had provided, or would they kind of go
That-
knocking on the door?
If it's coming from within the property, the best bet is to see if the resident is home. But yeah, you could call that number. That number is functional during working hours. There's a 24-hour. So if you call 748-5000, that's our sort of a 24-hour line. Somebody should be able to, also assist in at least
Great.
directing you to the appropriate person at the time.
Perfect. Mahalo.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Going on to board business. Unfortunately, tonight we do not have quorum. I don't see any of our board members online. So unfortunately, we don't have quorum to make any board action. I do want to mention though, election is up for the vice chair. Filling vacancies, we have two, one in the sub-district 1, and then 2 for sub-district 3. Is that correct? Okay. And then 2 at large. If you're not familiar with the sub-districts, please feel free to come and see us after, or and then we can answer any questions. So unfortunately, going into the resolutions, we won't be able to take action. There was resolutions from the Kaimaki board, the neighborhood board, in regards to the bus route 200. And then we also have the Bill 46 empty homes tax resolution. And I do see that Ross is on. So
Yes, Chair, I am on. I can wait until you get quorum in another month. Thank you.
okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Ross, for understanding.
Thank you.
Right. And then for Kaimaki neighborhood board for the bus route 200, we do have information if anybody else has any questions in regards to that. It is the same presentation that we went over in December. And we hope to have quorum next month. All right. So with that being said, we're going to move on to presentations. And we have the early eviction mediation program with Roberta, the project manager. Is Roberta on or here present with us? No. Roberta? Nope. Okay. Next, I have on the presentations list, we have the sewer rates increase, and that is with the City Department of Environmental Services, and I should have Mark Owens.
Good afternoon, Chair, board members, community members. I'm Mike O'Keefe. I'm the Deputy Director with the city's Department of Environmental Services, and here to talk to you tonight about some proposed sewer fee increases. Just to give some context to the sewer fee increases, I want to talk a little bit about what our department does first. So as I mentioned, we're environmental services. We manage, operate, and maintain all of the city's solid waste and wastewater infrastructure. So on the solid waste side, that ranges from everything from the yellow trucks that you see coming through the neighborhood to get the gray, green, and blue carts, the 7 refuse and recycling convenience centers that are around the island, 3 transfer stations. We manage the landfill, and we manage H-Power, the waste to energy facility as well. On the wastewater side, which is the side I'm here to focus on tonight, we manage 9 wastewater treatment plants, including the Sand Island wastewater treatment plant that services this area, this basin. The 72 pump stations that pump wastewater or sewage to the treatment plants, and then 2,100 miles of sewer system throughout the island. We do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have people at the plants all day, every day to provide this service. And I also want to mention too that, on the subject of sewer fees, which is what I'm here to talk about tonight too, is that our department, the wastewater operation of our department is completely independent of the city's general fund revenue, right? So to run the sewer system, the wastewater program, we don't take any money from property taxes or any other source of funds. Like, we get all of our money from our sewer fees, the fees that folks pay. It comes on the water bill. If you guys know, you have the water bill that has the water and the sewer charge on it, but it all comes from this sewer fee, the sewer fees that I'm here to talk about tonight. We haven't adjusted rates since 2016. And so like everyone else, our costs have gone up to operate and maintain our system, to pay our 900 employees that work at the department. And also, we have a really large capital improvement program that's designed to target things like sewer main breaks, that's designed to prepare our infrastructure for the impacts of climate change, that is going to upgrade sewer plants to meet regulations that are coming down the pipe. So that construction program, we call it our capital improvement program, between 2025 and 2040 is $10 billion. So another way to think of it is the same cost as the rail. It's very large. And so that's another thing that our sewer fees go to pay for. It's this construction, it's the day-to-day operation and maintenance of the sewer system, all of that. So with that said, how much are the fees proposed to go up? We're proposing to increase fees incrementally over a 10-year period. We had originally planned the first increase to go into effect July 1st of this year. That's more than likely not going to happen. It's going to be maybe September, but maybe even January 1st of 2026, by the time we get all of our necessary approvals. So we're proposing what's called a 10-year package, which I mentioned. It goes up incrementally every year over 10 years. So the first 6 years of that 10 years package, it's going to go up 9% every year. For years 7, 8, 9, and 10, it's going to go up 7, 6, 8, 7, 6, 5%. So cumulatively, the net impact of the increase over 10 years is going to be 115%. That's between what's probably likely 2026 to 2034. So it's a big increase. There's no doubt about that, but it is spread over a 10-year period, and it kind of culminates about a decade from now in 2034. On the sheet in front of you, and I encourage the folks in the room to go up and grab one of these sheets if you want to. We have just a sample on the back of the sheet that shows what our average bill looks like now and what it'll look like at the end of the 10-year increase. And so you can take a look at that to get a sense for what you're actually going to be paying. So in addition to the increases that we're proposing, we're also proposing to change up our whole billing program a little bit. So you may know now that, as I mentioned, the sewer bill, your sewer fees are paid on your water bill. They all come on the same bill and you pay it together. Currently, the average sewer bill is comprised of two types of charges. There's a base charge that does not change any month, no matter how much water you use. On average, that's about 70% of your bill. The other 30%, which is we call a volumetric charge, varies on water use. So if you don't use any water, you don't pay any volumetric charge. So that's a 70-30 split, fixed to volumetric. What we're proposing to do in the new rate package is change that 70-30 to 50-50. And what that does is as I explained, it allows our customers, our ratepayers, everybody in this room, to have greater control over their sewer bill by virtue of if you use less water, you can pay less in sewer fees. So that's one change we wanted to do, kind of empower the ratepayer a little bit more. The second change is kind of an acknowledgement to the fact that, like I talked about, it's a fairly significant increase over a 10-year period. We are proposing to include a customer assistance program for wastewater. There currently is none. There's no assistance whatsoever. You get a bill and you have to pay it kind of regardless of income level. But going forward, what we're going to do is annually dedicate $10 million every year from our revenue stream to help offset sewer bills for low-income customers. So there'll be a process. We're setting up a process whereby folks can apply for this, and if they meet a certain income level, they'll get like a $20 to $30 credit on their monthly bill, which will really help offset some of the cost of this increase. And talking in the ballpark of $20, $30, if you were to qualify for that, the net effect of that is you wouldn't even see an increase on your bill for at least the first 4 years of these rate increases. So it really will help certain people at a certain income level. Those were the two main changes. And that's kind of all I wanted to touch on, just the highlights. I didn't want to, kind of bury everyone in detail. But if there's any questions or you need more information, I'm happy to talk further.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir, we've had a presentation, I remember, on creating a wastewater authority before. Is that the way your department is moving to create an independent authority? Will costs such as administration be carried into something like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So currently, there's no plans to establish our department as its own authority. Like the Board of Water Supply, for example, it's a kind of a quasi-autonomous city organization with its own governing board. No plans currently to do that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for your presentation. Could you remind me on the process of approving this rate hike? How does it get pulled to the government?
Sure. Thank you for asking. So our rates are set in city ordinance. And so in order to change our rates, we have to change ordinance, which can only be done by introducing a bill at city council. So we've done that. We introduced a bill back in November. The bill has to go through it has to be approved 3 times, has to be passed 3 times. It was passed once on introduction in November. And then it's been scheduled for hearing since then. It was scheduled for hearing in December, I think. And that was the last hearing. But the hearing in December was not for action. It was just for public information. So the bill to increase the fees still has to be approved 2 more times in order for it to take effect.
And what committee is that in?
It's currently at the Committee on Budget.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions or anyone online? Okay. Thank you so much for your
Thank-
time.
Mahalo,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. And next up, we have the Hawaii Green Growth Program, the rainwater assessment team. Sage.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. Yeah, let me share my screen if that's okay for, I can show the presentation. Does everything look okay on the screen?
Yes, thank you.
Well, aloha everybody. My name is Sage. I work with Hawaii Green Growth under the Follow the Drop initiative. So our program or our project has three main goals. The first one is to recharge our aquifers where we get 100% of our drinking water from. The second is to mitigate any flooding that is happening on the properties that we are assessing. And the third would be to decrease the amount of brown water runoff that's coming from our properties and contributing to ocean pollution. And we work specifically within the Alawai watershed. So that's about Punch Bowl to the beginning of Diamond Head, including all these different neighborhoods like Pālolo. We use this app, also called Follow the Drop, during our free rainwater assessments, where we take a tour of the perimeter of the property and we're looking at the downspouts and different outlets of water on the property, and using the app to calculate how much runoff is coming from your roof and down your off your downspouts. And hopefully we can suggest what we call green stormwater infrastructure. And these are things like rain gardens or permeable pavement, rain barrels, or even as simple as vegetative filters, which are just like grassy patches. And these can all help to capture that runoff before it hits our streets and gets into our ocean. And we can use it for things like watering our gardens or washing cars or for emergency situations. So you can see here by this graph that within the Alawai watershed, the most popular green stormwater infrastructure that we are seeing are rain barrels, so catching that water and using it in other areas around your home. However, the most, we can say, effective green stormwater infrastructure is actually permeable pavement, where it's these huge areas where we're able to capture that kind of water. Although those are usually very big projects. So that's why rain barrels are usually very quick, easy fix and more on the cost effective side. So currently we've done over 60 assessments, different properties around the watershed. That equals to about 1.6 million square feet of impervious surface that we have looked at, or about 28 football fields. And then from those properties, 44 or around 44 million gallons of runoff are coming from those properties every year, or about 66 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So a lot of water. And we're seeing that rain barrels and catchment systems have the potential to capture about 39% of the runoff that comes from their area. Rain gardens are able to capture about 68% of that runoff potentially. And then again, the permeable pavement probably does the best at capturing potentially that runoff at 76%. But what we really wanted to talk about today is our Smart Yard workshop that's coming up in March 1st on that Saturday. We want to invite everybody in the Alawai watershed to come out and learn how to install these green stormwater infrastructures like rain barrels and rain gardens. We're going to have a raffle where 10 people will be able to win a free rain barrel and diverter kit. And this is happening at Ali'iolani Elementary School, where we are actually working with them to install a rain garden for them at their cafeteria. The next thing that we wanted to talk about is the Malama Mauna Lua incentive program that just started a couple weeks ago. They just opened their applications. They'll be open till around, I believe, March 31st. You might have seen this talked about in your water bill. I believe that they're putting it in your guys' water bills and mailing it to you, or other people around the island might be talking about it. But you're able to apply and possibly get a free rain barrel, rain garden, or tree for free, and they install it for you as well. However, the first step is usually booking your rainwater assessment either with us. We've done rainwater assessments virtually as well. So if you're, you know people that aren't in the watershed but would still really like to apply, we've been able to help people that way. And then you would follow up and click the link below or go into that website below and finish the application. And again, we've helped people and we're planning on helping people apply because sometimes it might not be as easy, or if you have any questions. So yeah, that's really everything I have for today. I'm here to answer any questions that anyone may have. So thank you, Chair, board members, and community members for having me.
Mahalo, Sage. Hello?
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you can hear me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mahalo, Sage, for your presentation. We appreciate it. Do we
Of
have
course.
any questions? Board? Anyone from the audience? No? Okay. No,
All right.
we're
Thank you.
okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So, okay, before I move on, I wanted to run back because I forgot one item under board business. We did have our board member Beverly Mao that had resigned from us in December. So I'm sorry, board member Darlene is going to help me with the letter.
So unfortunately, we weren't able to recognize Beverly Mao. She's not here today, obviously. She did write us a very nice, heartfelt resignation letter, which I wanted to share with you. Beverly Mao has been a board member with us for 11 years. She's been a tremendous help. She's actually been the rock. Wouldn't you guys all agree? Of our board, and so we're sorely going to miss her. We wish her well. Unfortunately, she did have to move out of the district, so hopefully she'll be back. We wish her the very best of luck in her endeavors, but we did want to recognize you, Beverly, for all the years of service that you've given us and the Pālolo Valley. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, thank you, Beverly. We hope to see you soon again. All right. With that being said, I'm going to give one more chance for the early eviction mediation program. Nope. Okay. We're going to move on to resident community concerns. Before I go into that, board member Randolph Hack had sent me some information in regards to road closures. I just wanted to briefly go over. HECO, Hawaiian Electric, is replacing a pole and equipment on Sierra between Keanu and Waialae Avenue, 8:30 to 2:30 p.m. on Friday, the 28th. Not this Friday, but on the 28th. There will be a power shutoff in the area, and Mackay-bound traffic will be counterflowed on Sierra. Sierra Gardens parking lot and 7-Eleven driveway exits will be blocked. If you have any other questions or concerns, please reach out to 808-543-4000. Thank you, Board Member Hack, for that information. And we're going to continue with the resident community concerns, and I have all right. Sorry about that. So I have guest Rod Arias that is doing a presentation for a community event that's coming up. So you could please introduce yourself. Thank you.
All right, aloha. My name is Rodney Arias. I live on Kyle Street, and good evening, everybody. With the recent we just had a shooting up in Pālolo in a valley a few weeks ago, and I just it was just really heavy on my heart. A lot of violence that's going on in a community, and um, I reached out to Dahlia from the housing and asked if there was anything we could do to to bring some light to the community. And so I asked her like if we could just plan a day where we could bring the community together and just pray. So on February 22nd, I think we have some flyers out, but on February 22nd, Saturday, from 12 to 2, right here at Pālolo Elementary in the gym, the outdoor gym here, we're going to gather the community, the schools, they're participating, first responders, and we have a bunch of pastors that are going to come, and we're just going to come together, ask the Lord to heal and bless our land, and then after we're going to have some times of just some light refreshments so that we can talk story, and get to know one another. So we're putting this together, and it's really I'm learning a lot. I've never done this before, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and I just want to I want to share too. Like we had a chance last night to go to the Pālolo housing and talk to the residents last night, and just to stand there and talk to them about the event, you could just see some faces and some smiles, appreciating this event. So I think it's going to just bring some light to the community, bring some good news for once, and hopefully take steps towards healing the community and bringing everybody together. So so it's February 22nd, Saturday, from 12 to 2 right here at Pālolo Elementary. So that's all I wanted to share.
Awesome. We appreciate it. Anyone have any questions? Dalia, did you want to share anything?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah. It's
We appreciate you guys gathering everyone together for that.
yeah, and the help's been awesome. Like a lot of you know my friends that in the community they're like everybody's jumping in. So we're excited, and hopefully it'll bring some positivity into the community.
That's awesome. If anyone wants to help or donate or be a part of it, how can
Um,
they reach you?
Yeah, they can just call me 808-377-0026. Just call my phone, and we'll talk story.
Awesome.
Grab a flyer on your way out. It just
Grab a flyer. Yep. And so
the bottom.
yeah, I want to thank Dahlia too, man. She's I mean, I was so I mean, I don't know, this incident really just was heavy on my heart. And so I was texting her, I was telling her what's going on and all that, and you know, she's so gracious to allow me to and then support this event. So thanks, Dahlia. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any more resident community concerns?
Hi, Joanne Nishiki from Carlos Long. Just a follow-up, just requesting follow-up. Is there anything new on the albizia and other overgrowth in the cement storm drain that borders Narcissus Street, the back of Narcissus Street residence, and the forest reserve land beyond, cutting of or cutting back of? And then there's a second thing. One of our neighbors who lives at the far end of Narcissus Street, right on the bend, said that, it just informed me that there were surveyors or somebody from, I guess, government, local government, who talked to him about looking behind his house, about the necessity of creating a fire break there. I mean, I guess they were exploring the possibility. Does anybody know anything about that? So, you know, just those two kind of. So yeah, just questions for, follow up on, or more information on either of those issues.
Is it okay if you please repeat that address?
Narcissus Street. So my particular house is 2470, but it's actually, I'm like the third house in, but there's about 10 houses. There's about 10 houses along that are affected.
And that's for are you mentioning the surveyors or the Albizia?
Both.
Oh, okay, okay. So actually, we have I'm sorry, Deputy Director Warren Mamizuka that's going to present during his presentation. If you have on the Albizia. As for the surveys, I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on
Yeah,
that.
sorry, because he just mentioned it to me in passing, so I don't have any more information than that.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Do we have any more community concerns, resident concerns? You can please state your name. Thank you so much.
My name is Kelson Kai. I live up on 10th Avenue. I just wanted to kind of show my support for Route 200. I know there's been a lot of talk about that lately. Route 200 with its introduction and now that there's 3 buses on the route really has like changed my life personally. It's made getting around this community a lot easier. Before I'd have to take 2 or 3 buses to get anywhere. Now I can get anywhere pretty much in this whole community, including like Waikiki, everywhere a lot faster. It's really made my life personally better. I know a lot of people are kind of complaining, especially in Kaimuki about it. But I really think that it's vital for our community to grow. Good transit is vital for our community, and this is an integral part to it. And it's just made my life, and I've seen so many more people on the bus today, like just in general, over the past few months with the introduction of this route. And I really hope that it stays the same. The only thing I hope for is better frequency on the route. I think that would really help because the buses nowadays, even during the middle of the day, there's lots of people on them, and I think better frequency will help a lot of people that maybe don't catch the bus right now to, maybe give it a shot and see how much easier it is to get around without, especially like Kapulu and Kaimuki, the parking situation there is kind of bad a lot of times. So it's really nice. I've seen a lot of hotel workers use it to get to Waikiki now. UH students, they don't need to transfer before they need to take 3 buses. So I'm in 100% support. The only concern is like there's a lot more people using it. So when DTS got rid of all these stops that were around the neighborhood, the kupuna have to walk a lot farther now. So that is the only concern that I really have. But I think DTS did a really good job with the route. I think they did a really good job updating the route and everything. And I hope that maybe we can get a little more community support behind it. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're here from Kaimuki, Kapahulu, representing our end of the neighborhood. And we also like this route, okay? It's a circulator that serves 3 neighborhoods now. And it goes around Pālolo Valley and it goes through Kaimuki and to Kapiolani Park. So it serves our 3 neighborhoods. And as such, it's really wonderful. But the only complaint we have is that the middle of the route through Kaimuki, we want to take it off a street that has no, nothing of interest, which is the 6th Aloha Avenue to KCC, from Market City to KCC. There's nothing really on that route, but we want it to go through Kaimuki town, because if you look at this route, it actually bypasses Kaimuki town. It doesn't go through Kaimuki town. So those people who are used to be on 18th Avenue or, even I used to go to Kamiki Middle School. I used to take the bus to Kamiki, go to the Kamiki Library or go to Kamiki Town to transfer to go to my Chinese school after school. But you cannot now, okay? And also the kids who are in Kapiolani Park, they cannot get directly to Kamiki Middle School either. They have to go all the way around and, it's very inconvenient. So what we're simply asking for is keeping most of the route the same, but only that portion now that goes through Kamiki, which is from 6th Avenue to Aloha to KCC, with nothing along that route except, my house, to go to Kamiki Town, and then you can go through Kamiki Town back to the Cocoa Head turnoff. Oh, okay. Want to go back?
Well, actually, can I mention, I do have printed out of the resolution, and I also have the colored copies of the maps. So if anyone here or anyone online wants to, look at it, I can definitely leave it at the front, or you can come up. Trying to do This stuff never goes to. This is like. Hi.
Pardon, Chair is.
Sorry.
Chair is there.
All we're saying
What?
is we're just changing the routing within our neighborhood, but the ends remain the same. So you're still getting to the same place, just a different way. And then you can, in addition, go to all those other places like Kilauea District Park. You have the Kamiki Middle School, Kamiki Town, especially the library, the post office. You will be able, as Pālolo residents, be able to access Market City and go back to Kamiki Town, all of these places on one bus, and still go down to Diamond Head Road and get to Waikiki. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll get with you after. I do have a copy of the resolution, the map. Okay, thank you guys. Any more questions or community concerns? Nope. All right, perfect. We're gonna move on. We're gonna skip the approval of the minutes. And then we're gonna move on to elected officials. We have Congressman Ed Case's representative. Okay, we're gonna move on to Governor Josh Green. We have Kelly Amundsen.
Good evening, everyone, Chair, members of the board. PLA Amundsen with the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency here this evening to represent the governor's office. I'd just like to share some news coming out of the governor's office. On January 21st, the governor delivered his 2025 State of the State address where he highlighted key initiatives and accomplishments. He spoke on affordable housing, homelessness, public safety, and other projects. Last month, the governor traveled to Washington, D.C. to provide input regarding the nomination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Secretary of Health and Human Services. On January 28th, the governor signed an executive order to promote and expedite renewable energy, helping to reduce energy costs. We experienced a low pressure weather system last month with some heavy rains and minor flooding. I just would like to toot our horn a little bit. HIEMA's administrator, James Barrows, took preemptive measures in making sure that the state was postured to assist the counties if they required any support. The DoD did deploy over 40 National Guard personnel to assist Maui with traffic control as there were major flooding and widespread debris. There were also some power outages and road closures. But I would like to point out that the county administrators also did an incredible job of tracking this event and doing whatever it took to safeguard their communities. The governor visited Florida at the beginning of this month to lead discussions on alternative dispute resolution at the Institute for Crisis Prevention and Resolution's annual meeting, where he shared valuable insights and best practices for the state's response and recovery as it related to the Lahaina wildfires. You can read more interesting stories and events related to the governor's office in the governor's monthly newsletter, Kealoho, which I had brought some copies for you, or if you can download, if you're interested in downloading a soft copy, you can visit governor.hawaii.gov. Pending any questions, that's the end of my report from the governor's office. Mahalo.
Do we have any questions or concerns? No? I want to thank you so much for your time, and I do apologize about mispronouncing your name again. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to Mayor Blangiardi's Deputy Director, Warren Mamizuka. Thank you.
Aloha, good evening, board chair and board members. Great to see you folks this year. It's been a while. For the mayor's report, there's like 4 items, but I'll go through the first 3, and we have a special guest from the Department of Parks and Recreation, Director Laura Thielen, and the new Deputy Director, Ted. You kept telling me last name. I forgot. Sorry. So Ted going to present for DPR. So I think everyone's going to be happy tonight. Yeah. So item number 1, the first issue, the monster home on 10th Avenue. Member Kawamoto shared the residential property at 19th Avenue. Recently undergone renovations. The board would like to request information from DPP to know if the property's renovations were permitted to extend their parking. And the response from the Department of Planning and Permitting, after researching, DPP permit issuance branch has found no permits issued for renovation work. The last building permit issued to 1936 10th Avenue was for solar photovoltaic installation, and DPP will need to do additional, add additional response time for to their building division to investigate if any work was done without the necessary permits. So they're still investigating that now that they know that there's some renovations going on. So hopefully we can hear something next month. The second issue is addressing the albizia tree overgrowth on. There's overgrowth of invasive albizia trees on the forest reserve, the old Kavau Park site, bordering the cement canal that runs behind Narcissus Street homes The residents would like to know what is the status on the corrective measures on this longstanding issue. So the Department of Parks and Recreation, Division of Urban Forestry actually went out January 16th of this year, and they conducted an inspection of numerous wild growth trees and vegetation of various species, which includes albizia, along the backside of Narcissus Street properties within the old Caval Street, Caval Park site, a city unimproved park parcel in Pālolo. The Division of Urban Forestry arborists determined that although no branches appear to pose an immediate public safety concern, maintenance is warranted. Tree work to create approximately 30 feet of fire lane clearance and perform albizia tree removal within 50 feet from the canal heading towards Mauka, away from the neighboring properties, is anticipated to be completed by the end of April of this year. Good news, yeah? Got that. Okay, so item number 3, Pālolo Valley District Park Swimming Pool parking lights issue. Residents are requesting to have the parking lot lights fixed as soon as possible. She reported all of the lights are out. So as you may know, currently there's a construction project going on. So the vault that that energizes these lights are in the parking lot. The DFM crew, the Department of Facility Maintenance electricians, that crew will get out there. We'll try to coordinate with the Department of Design and Construction to see if we can get out there sooner. If not, we'll wait for the completion of the project at the Pālolo Valley District Park. So we'll try and get to it sooner. If not, we'll have to wait till, let me see. Maybe it's around summertime, beginning of summer. Yeah, sorry about that. But at this time, I'd like to call up Ted for his report on the projects going on at Pālolo Valley District Park. Thank you very much. Oh, well, before Ted comes up, any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, good evening. Okay, so Ted Hayden, Deputy Director for Parks and Recreation. So I'm here tonight to give you guys an update on the project going on at Pālolo Valley District Park. And so what Warren was just talking about, so that project right now is the phase 1, which is the structural improvements for the gymnasium. And so that's in phase 1 right now. They began construction over there on February 4th, and the construction is expected to last and take about 180 days. But once that gets completed, we'll be able to move on to phase 2, which is improving the roof and re-roofing the pool pump building, which also really needs it. So there's a lot of work up there that needs to be done to make sure that all the equipment and everything for the pool runs smoothly and doesn't get damaged, right, from all the rain and stuff. And so the final thing I wanted to update all of you on, which hopefully you'll be very excited about, is the Pālolo Valley District Park redoing the lighting for the courts, the court lighting. And so the mayor was able to release $500,000 to begin the design process for those lights. And so we want to thank Councilmember Say for putting that into the original Councilmember ad. Our new council member on all of that. Okay, and so yeah, so we should be able to get started on the design process and get moving on that. I want to update you guys a little bit also on some of the other projects that we have going on. And so on the recreation side, Pālolo Valley was selected as one of the areas. We're doing kind of across the island. We're looking at all of our parks, all of our districts, and kind of focusing in on some of the areas that have historically not seen as much attention as others. And so Pālolo Valley District Park was selected as one of the cases for that. And so we're really focusing and kind of trying to put more resources into the park and the area. team has kind of come up with, the Pālolo Valley District Park team has come up with, they want to add, so in the near future, so we have kind of short-term and long-term goals, is adding a softball clinic to bring the kids out and do some additional softball activities. So that'll be for 8 to 12-year-olds, which will be a lot of fun, as well as adding a flag football team and league to bring the kids out to have, right? Everybody wants to have a little bit more fun in that case. And then one of the more long-term projects that they're looking at is trying to partner and collaborate with Pālolo Valley Elementary School for an after-school hours program that'll be able to support the youth's academic, social, and physical development. And so we're really looking at trying to partner with other members of the community to bring everyone together within the park to really raise everybody up. And so this will be a really excellent addition. So what the plan is to really add student development, have safe supervision for kids after school, especially because lots of parents are out working, right? They can't be home when the kids get off. So giving them a safe place to go after school, as well as increasing engagement. So giving them enrichment activities, sports activities, all to do after school. And also increasing just community support for everybody. Yeah, so those are some of the areas working. We're also hard at work getting ready for summer fun, which will be another really big one. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you very much. Any questions?
The phase one, can you kind of go over a little bit about in detail in regards to the phase one on the improvement of the corrosion damages to is it when you say main steel columns of the buildings, or is this something that I would have to maybe email or call your folks' office on?
Yeah, I'd have to look into that to give you the real details. I know that there was some structural damage within the building that needed to be addressed. So that was why it was kind of a much bigger project.
Okay. Yeah, what would be the best way for me to address my questions? Because for example, when we closed down from COVID and then there was another closure at the gym, and it was stated that they were doing renovations. When we reopened the gym after COVID, it actually had more leaks than when it was renovated.
Laura, answer that.
Thank you. Laura Thielen, Director for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Because Ted's relatively new, he didn't live through this. So the Department of Design and Construction began a project to repair the roof at the Pālolo gym. And anybody can see it. They can see all the leaks that are coming in, and it's a real problem. When they started to do that work, a lot of times you cannot discover problems until you start to uncover them. And what they uncovered was there were structural problems with the columns at the gym. So they couldn't do the roofing work until they first went in and fixed the structural issues. So they had to pull back on the construction, do the design for the structural issues. And that's what they're in construction to do now. And then once they're finished, they'll be able to go immediately back in phase two to do the roof construction because that design was already done. We've learned a lot of things in going through this project and a couple other projects, one of which is a lot of our gutters are backing up and they're having sitting water on top of the roofs, which is creating problems. In this case, what was leaking down and creating the structural damage to the columns. So we now have, as a preventative maintenance, annual gutter cleaning that we're under a master agreement to have done. Because we don't want to keep compounding this problem. And then we've also got a master agreement to do more repairs of roofs at earlier stages so we don't have this kind of lengthy process in between the jobs. So I'm sorry that in this case, Pālolo seemed to kind of have the double whammy of the structure and the roof, all at one time. But we hope to be able to prevent that from happening to you folks again, as well as to other communities.
Do you folks foresee any issues with the lighting?
Um,
And then maybe do you guys have like a time frame?
we won't really know until we actually get in and start doing the design for it. So that'll be, we're really early in the process right now. So we still have to get together with the Department of Design and Construction and start the process.
Is it possible for me to get an understanding on the amount for that lighting, the 500,000? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it might have been, I thought when we went to the Capitol, it was a much higher amount.
Yeah, so that would be for the entire project. So what they did was release the initial amount to start the process. So to start the design process. And then once we get through the design process, then we can go back and get the rest of it released.
Okay. Makes sense. When that happens, is the finances and the jobs like how you had given us information here? Thank you so much for
Yeah,
this.
sure.
Is it made public up and kind of look at it to see?
So it's in the city budget. And so I believe that is public. Yeah.
So it would break down things like how the information that
Oh,
you had
no, it
given
wouldn't
me.
break it down like that.
What would be the best way for me to, I guess, follow the project?
I mean, you can definitely stay in contact with us.
Okay.
Happy to talk with you through that and talk about the process.
Okay. Okay. We'll probably get a list of questions down and then we'll send it over. I just wanted to know the breakdown because of course it's been so long. So I just kind of wanted to get some information back to the residents.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And we won't know the amount until we actually go into the design and actually start getting our quotes and stuff. So the 500 is really to help get the project started.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right, next we have on our, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have one question because the park is, it's so important to our community and it's been down for so many times for so long. For all of these I'm looking at right now, is it going to back up the project or stop the project or prolong it anymore? All of this other things that you both not see.
Apologies for having my back to you folks. Gotta stand. So the construction is difficult because it's expensive, takes a long time. And a lot of times when you do start a project, especially because we're fixing old buildings and old infrastructure, once they open things up, they do uncover, in many cases, things that are unexpected that can delay a project or increase the costs. So for example, at Ala Moana, we're doing some work down at McCoy Pavilion. And so when they were uncovering some things, the wastewater lines and the water lines, are about as old as I am, in some cases older. And so, things you're finding don't work. So we can never guarantee that a project is going to go through smoothly because a lot of times you do uncover this, but we try to anticipate as many of the problems as we can in the design. One of the reasons a lot of times when there's an add in for a budget item, it'll put in the cost of planning, design, construction, inspection, but you may have to go and get permits. You have to go through your contract to get your design. You really don't know how much the full construction is going to cost until you get your design done. So that's why we did the release of the design money, so we could go ahead and get that started. And then we'll have a better, more accurate estimate of what the construction costs would be. Our hope is court lighting is not that complicated. You know, our hope is that the electrical system that's serving that area is working, and that would not also have to be replaced. But some of these things we won't find out until we get in there. So they try to do the best possible, and where they can, as part of the design process, they may start to do a little bit of digging around a little bit more so they have a better estimate. That's what's going on at Waimanalo Beach Park, is they're examining the water lines to the old comfort stations to see whether those are going to also have to be replaced, you know, when they replace the bathrooms or not. And that's part of the design process. So then when we get the bids for the, or we'll know if that has to be included or not. So that's why sometimes you separate those two processes, so you have a better idea when you go into construction what the full cost is going to be and the full size of the job. So fingers crossed that, you know, with the gym, you guys got unlucky. Maybe that will use up all of the bad luck. And, you know, for the lighting project, it could be better luck. You know, I don't know. And I don't mean to be making a joke out of it, because it is very frustrating. You know, we want all of these places to be fixed up and working for everybody. We know how important they are for communities. You know, it's not just a light, it's not just a court, it's a gathering place for the community to be together. And that's really critically important. So we want it to work too. We can be reporting back to the board. So if you just put in questions for updates, you know, on the mayor's report, then those get circulated to the respective departments. So, you know, we can kick it off with answering responses to that and asking, you know, for the when DDC, when they can get the project in the queue. And then once it shifts over to them for design, they can provide you guys with updates on that process. They do have master contracts with the people who do the design. So they're able to work more quickly with them, where they can work out the scope of design for that process and then to get that started. So it's not like it has to go on out for bid to do that initial work. So we're trying to run this project as efficiently as we can.
Renell, can we make this a standing item on agendas going forward?
So, yeah, make sure for this month, and then we will include it in the report for Warren for the next month. And his office is near ours, so he can always knows where to find us if we haven't gotten him something on time.
Okay. Just a question, when we're doing the researching for the budgeting, what happens? Is it like, how does that process work as far as like how much people we call or bids, or how does that work?
So do you mean, how do we decide the price for things, or how does the public find out what was paid for things?
Well, both. I was wondering the process of how we find the best contractor or person to work on the project, and then how much people would we call as far as trying to stay within a decent budget at the same time, quality wise.
So the funding isn't released to the community. The funding is released for the city agencies to do the contracting. So under the state law, whenever the government in Hawaii is going to pay for anything using taxpayer dollars, we have to follow what's called the procurement code. And so we have to put out for bid anything that we're going to be asking contractors to do. We have to open it up for any contractor to submit a bid to do the job. So what we do is when we do certain jobs over and over and over again, we put out a bid for what's called a master agreement. So DDC put out for bid master agreements to do design services. So they have a series of master contracts where they already have companies that are contracted for a set period of time who will do design work for them. group will work with their design contractor for this region to work out a scope of work to design the lighting for this court. DDC will ask the Department of Parks and Recreation, what do you want for this court? And so that's something where, you know, if the community has something specific in mind, please let us know. What we would be looking at is what are the general park standards for lighting courts of this size? Because we kind of have standard lights or, you know, a certain number of lights for certain types of courts at certain distances. So we would probably follow the normal standard, but if this community has something specific in mind that's different, you know, please let us know sooner rather than later. But we would ask DDC to then design it based on our park standards. And then they would go ahead and come up with, you know, what it would cost to put lighting.
Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
We appreciate it because we actually spoke with a lot of the youth and we put together a PowerPoint, which we sent over to your office in regards to if there was, you know, extra funds, lighting certain places and maybe like a couple of benches, because there's actually, I would say on the playground, there's probably like 1 or 2 benches. That's it. There's nowhere else to sit. So when you go to the park, everybody, you know, brings their own chairs or sits on the ground. And that's only like maybe about till 5:30, unfortunately, because we're in the valley, so it gets dark fast.
Okay.
So unfortunately, you'll hear a bunch of noise, you know, kids' voices yelling and playing, but they're all in the dark. So how would we go about doing that of submitting our, you know,
Bruno,
possible
if you can resend to Ted and I that design that you had for the lighting, not because it sounds like you want areas lit, not just the courts, but some other area. We can see what that looks like. And then we can see what the lighting can do. As far as benches go, we can't use bond funded money for benches. It's like you don't get, you know, your home mortgage rate when you want to pay off a credit card bill, you know, so the bond funded monies for those big types of projects. But that's something that we can do within our department with our operational funds, that we may be able to work with you to do benches in the parks and some other amenities like that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
Thank
you so much.
Apologies again for my.
Okay, thank you again. We're going to move on to City Council Member Scott Nishimoto and his team.
Thank you. Good evening, board members and community members. Great to be here. I'm your new city council person, Scott Nishimoto. For those of you who don't know me, I spent 22 years in the State House, representing mostly the Macaulay-Kapahulu area. But I'm happy to be started as your council person. I've been in the office for about a month. Wanted to first introduce my team. This is my whole staff here. So I wanted you to be able to put a face to a name when you call our office. First off is Heath Williams, Taylor Date, Sophia Anderson, and lastly is Kylie Tokujo. And Kylie will be covering the Pālolo area for me. So most likely she will be handling your requests when you call or email our. As a rep, we did a community e-blast a couple of times a month. We're going to be continuing that. So I think Kylie has a QR code you guys can scan if you want to sign up for that. But we generally do it about every other week. And I think we'll try to put it in the chat too. But please sign up for that. It's a way to keep in touch with me and a way to find out what's going on in our district. This district is pretty big. It's not just Pālolo. It's basically Pālolo all the way to Ward Avenue. So there may be things that don't necessarily apply to Pālolo in that e-blast, but it does apply to our district. And I guess I am available for comments or questions.
First of all, welcome. Thank you for stepping up once again and serving your community. We heard earlier this evening about a sewer rate increase.
Yep.
115% increase over 10 years.
Yes.
And it just goes to show that, we continue to struggle with rising cost of living here, whether it's groceries, it's gas, it's housing,
Yes.
and especially for those who are on fixed incomes. I know that those projects in the sewer need to be done, but I just want to make you aware that, that's getting more and more difficult, as you probably know, for a lot of people, not just seniors, not people on fixed income, but people at all income levels. And when I hear 115% increase in sewer fees, that's just one fee of the many types of fees and taxes that we all pay. So I know you will be having a lot of deliberation about any increase in taxes and fees, but I want to make sure that, it's top of mind for me. I'm sure top of mind for many people. And I know you got your work cut out for you, but please be considerate, and I know you are, of how expensive it's getting to live in Hawaii and why so many people are moving and why young families can no longer afford to live here.
Sure.
One fee is one of many. And I know you'll take that into consideration, but I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing that up. It's definitely 100+% increase over 10 years it's a big number. We're definitely going to look at it. The council has to approve it. I definitely have concerns. I'll put it to you that way. I haven't sat through a hearing on it yet, so I'll reserve my decision until I hear in a public hearing, but I have huge reservations about it.
Thank you. Could you tell us what committees you're on and which one you're chairing?
Yeah, so I'm the vice chair of the budget committee. I request, because I spent most of my time in the State House in the finance committee. So I'm used to working on budget. So I'm the vice chair of budget in the council. I'm also the chair of the legal affairs committee. Basically, we do all the settlements come through my committee.
Again, thank you for stepping up once again, and glad you're on board.
I'm looking forward to representing you and the Pālolo people.
Anyone else? Thank you so much and
Okay.
welcome to you and your team.
Thank you.
Mahalo. May I have State House Representative Jackson Sayama?
Good evening, Chair, members of the board, members of the public. Happy New Year. As you probably see on the news already, the legislative session is in full swing. This session, I am chairing the Labor Committee. Anything really related to do with unions, workforce development, it's all under there. I'm also sitting on the committee for culture and arts, higher education, as well as education. So, if you do have questions regarding, what's happening at the Capitol, what, bills are going through, feel free to contact my office. If you haven't already received a newsletter, I do have my newsletters at the front, as well as some resources. This is the fraud. Just a helpful resource is, I think everyone has been experiencing more and more of these, text messages, emails that often are fraudulent. And I've been a victim of one myself. So, affects everyone. And you got to be real careful. I have another senior handbook. So these are resources for the kupuna in our community. Even if you're not kupuna yourself, it's useful to have one just in case, your loved one in your family does require some kupuna services. So good to have. And again, it's in the front. Don't have too many, but first come, first serve. This session, I'm introduced a lot of bills, probably the most bills than I've ever in the past, mostly related to labor. But issues that have affected Pālolo are the squatting bills that I introduced. One died already, but the other one basically increases penalties for individuals who have been found squatting on property and they have caused property damage during their residence. And so that would be, I think, a Class C felony. We are trying to adopt a more comprehensive reform to our squatting laws in Hawaii. Pālolo alone had 2 incidents over the interim regarding squatting. The property owner, we had communication with him. He didn't want them there, but it took a year at least to get these individuals off the property. And meanwhile, right, these individuals causing trouble for the neighbors. And, you know, it was not a pleasant experience. So we are trying to address that. Hopefully next session we'll have a more comprehensive bill, but it is surprisingly challenging, legally at least. So that's an uphill battle, but other issues we have are mandatory moped insurance, mandatory helmet laws, increasing the age from, I believe it was 50. So that's again addresses a lot of the moped accidents that happen in our district and around our district. You know, try to have these young guys have a helmet at least, you know, before they're 21, and then to have insurance, because mopeds don't require insurance to like any other vehicle. So that's right for their own safety, but for also the safety and accountability of other vehicle drivers on the road. So those are some measures that I think affect this district directly. Of course, I've been working with the principals of all the schools to secure capital improvement funds to renovate certain areas of the schools. Aside from that, my primary focus, as I shared earlier, was labor. And so I'm trying to help the state streamline its civil service hiring process. It takes months for anyone to get hired by the state. And obviously no one's going to wait that long. So trying to hurry that up and fill in the vacancies, because the more vacancies we have, the less services we're able to provide. So again, trying to do a lot of housekeeping for the state is my current focus. And with that, I'm available for any questions. Oh, wait, one more thing. My office, as well as Councilmember Nishimoto's office, is helping to organize a cleanup at Azama Park, March 22nd, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Please contact my office so you know we know who's coming. We could provide refreshments and maybe some food. If you could bring maybe a water bottle, you know, gloves. If you have your own tools, great. If not, we'll provide them for you there. So again, please let my office know, or Councilmember Nishimoto's office know about that. Now I won't wait to questions.
Question. Are you on House Finance?
No, no chair is allowed to be on finance committee.
Okay, got it. Just a little plug, if you could talk to somebody to get a hearing on House Bill number 112 to start a warm line for those needing mental health treatment to avoid more expensive interventions later on in their lives. It's a warm line requires the Department of Health to $1,000 in order to start a statewide warm line for our citizens with mental health issues. Thank you.
Will do. And because you mentioned finance and certain appropriations, I do want to let everyone know and give everyone heads up that I think, given what we've been seeing from the federal government, I think the approach for the state has been to shore up some money in case we lose federal funding for the thousands, tens of thousands of federal employees that work in the state of Hawaii. So a lot of that is at the University of Hawaii too. So if we lose that federal funding, we lose a lot of jobs and positions and capacity to provide services. So we are trying to be proactive and anticipate some flexibility there. So this might be a very tight budget this year, given some of the moving parts on the federal side.
Well, we don't want to burden the state with expensive mental health care and treatment, rather to have a type of intervention before that becomes necessary. And I have heard already from federal employees whose morale is already suffering. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had one question. Sorry, what park was the cleanup going to be
It's
organized?
called Azama Park. It's not an official park. It's this plot of land that Auntie Carol Azama helped clean up. It's by Waimau side. And yeah, I think I have an address on my phone, but I could share that with the board later.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Then that is it. We do not have Senator Les Ihara with us tonight. For announcement, our next meeting would be scheduled for Wednesday, March 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m., same place, full, and via WebEx. Neighborhood board elections, deadline for voter and candidate registration is Friday, February 21st. Please reach out to the NCO office if you need any assistance. Okay, I think that's it. Meeting adjourned.